Good afternoon, everyone. The regular meeting of the Gary Redevelopment Commission of October 30th, 2019 is now called to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Pastor Johnson.
Eternal God, Father, we do come and request your wisdom and your guidance in this meeting. I pray, oh God, that you would bless the staff, bless Mr. Bittner, and bless the board, bless our president, and Lord, we pray that you would bless the citizens of Gary. Give us what we need in order to be a prosperous city, and we'll be so careful to give your name and praise. In Jesus' name. Hallelujah. Here.
Commissioner Hall.
Here.
Commissioner King.
Here.
Commissioner Joyner.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Present.
All are present, and let it be noted that Mr. Buggs, who board representative, is absent at this time.
Okay, with 5 voting members present, we do have a quorum to conduct business for the Redevelopment Commission today. Certification of the record. Executive session held October 30th, 2019. I hereby certify that nothing has been discussed in the executive session held immediately before this open meeting except those items specified in the notice. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve, Madam President.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner King.
Yes.
Pastor Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 4, acceptance and approval of minutes of special meeting held September 9, 2019. What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not, may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner King.
Yes.
Pastor Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Acceptance and approval of minutes of regular meeting held September 25th, 2019. What's the board's pleasure?
Motion approved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not, may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner King.
Yes.
Pastor Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Abstain.
Motion is carried.
Item number 6, claims list of October 30th, 2019, which has been previously approved by the director. We have an overview.
Yes, in the 101 General Fund, $4,140.84. In 229 Unsafe Building Fund, $16,447.63. In 474 Non-Reverting Fund, $9,752.50. And in the Demolition Fund, $18,954.12.
Motion to approve, Madam President.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not, may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner King.
Yes.
Pastor Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Item number 7, special claims list of October 30th, 2019, which has been previously approved by the director. May I have an overview, please?
Yes, in the 823 Consolidated TIF Fund, amount of $2,587. In 824 Madison Townhomes TIF, the amount of $49,259.95. And in the 826 Lakefront TIF Fund, $13,618.
Motion for approval, Madam President.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not, may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner King.
Yes.
Pastor Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Item number 8, open bids for Lex Sandy Joe for the commission to hold, use, sell, exchange, lease, rent, or otherwise dispose of the property. Is there anyone who wants to submit a bid at this time?
Just one good.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. May I have a motion to close to receive bids?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not, then roll call, please.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner King.
Yes.
Pastor Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Okay, we received one bid. Okay, have a motion to open the bids that were received.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Nothing. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion's approved.
Okay, thank you.
So one bid from Region Growth Capital LLC. And let's see, there's a money order along with it. Bid amount $365,000 plus $1,735,000. That's in the development of this, so it's not. It's a little indeterminate.
Additional
Yeah.
proposals.
Yeah. Attributable to environmental and geotechnical conditions,
Okay.
That's a right.
more or less to
How much is the check for?
$15, Lake County Auditor's Office.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, and so part of our bid requirements for any
Oh.
transfer properties, recording of deeds.
And the other one, and the second one for $25 to record.
And what was this one?
Region Growth Capital LLC in Chicago.
We have a motion for bids to our second attorney for review and recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Have a roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Can I ask a question? This is big. Why you suppose there's only one bid on this project?
Well, I'd imagine because Lake Sandy Joe is a site that is not the easiest to develop, and there's probably not a large amount of folks that have the ability to do not only the capital necessary as well as know how to navigate the site for potential redevelopment. And the parcels that we put out there for RFP were also scattered in and around the area. And one of our requirements for response was having a path to land assemblage for a larger project outside of just Lake Sandy Joe and those scattered sites. So without any additional kind of path to a larger land assemblage, you're going to have less availability of folks that could just have the either financial wherewithal or the ability to move forward on that land assemblage.
Okay, so it's a normal advertising we've done?
Right, yeah, absolutely. So this was put out there, and I worked with Brian as well to let folks know, but it was published in accordance with Indiana law twice, at least 10 days apart, and at least 10 days before the opening of those bids. And it was also posted on the city's website.
Okay, just curious. See, it's strange for one, but I see it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Item number 9, request for approval of resolution number 6070, a resolution authorizing an award and transfer of real property from the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission to private homeowners for the City of Gary Side Lot Program. Property address is 2364 Industrial Boulevard, 1035 through 11 Oklahoma Street, 2408 10 through 10 Tyler Street, 2412 through 14 Tyler Street, 6016 East 6th Place, 6024 East 6th Place, 2037 through 41 Washington Street, and 2501 West 21st Avenue, 6138 East 6th Place, all located in the city of Gary, Indiana. May we have an overview, please, Mr. Bennett?
Sure, and I actually have Carol Pearl here, my deputy director. So Carol, why don't you come on up and give the board a update on these side lots that have been requested. You can come. All right.
Also, as usual, we do have other side lot sites available as usual for the neighboring homeowners for to be able to award them the neighboring lots to their properties that they already presently have, that they live in. So we, as always, award the side lots so that we can get the properties back onto the tax roll, and that they can also keep the lots up to their neighboring homes to make the lots constituents, make the lots as they are in the neighborhood, so that they won't keep the overgrowth of trees and weeds, and that they can add them into the tax roll of their present home that they presently have.
Thank you.
And we also have one of the petitioners here, Jennifer Taylor, and you guys may remember her from the property we transferred a couple months back, and had transferred the property, and she had come to the board with a presentation as far as revitalizing the property and the lot adjacent to it, so this is the second part of it. And she is, by all accounts, ahead of schedule as far as what the board had asked her to do. I've been out to the site and they've been working on it. She's cleared the branches away, and it looks a lot better than it did before. And
You can see it.
Yeah, you can see the house, and that is the very reason we put these properties back on tax roll, because private citizens have the wherewithal to put them back on the tax roll, and also have the ability to kind of give a second life to these properties. So, Jennifer, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to it, but you're welcome to, kind of talk about your progress.
Can I talk about the side lot and everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, I put some pictures into a little, hello? I'll sit over here. Okay, I put some pictures together. This is not, in all honesty, the house looks worse now than it did before.
I think it looks better because the overgrowth is gone.
The overgrowth is gone, and it was sort of pretty with the overgrowth. That was the overgrowth. And then it started to get cleared away, and now this is what it looks like now. So now you can really see how very ugly the house is. But we cleared away all the brushes. This is the side lot next to it. If you want to take my phone, you can, but there's the side lot. And in anticipation, I've already cleared that too. The inside of the house was a big wreck, like that kind of a situation inside. And now we've been gutting it. And now it's gutted completely. I don't know why that picture's doing that.
The house might be haunted.
Honestly, I think what's happening here, but I do think it's haunted. Anyway, so it's all down to the studs now inside. It's all getting there. The electric is going in. This is before I'm priming the outside just to try to protect the wood through the winter time. And now we've got the new windows. And so it's already starting to look so much better. I'm really excited about it. So the whole electric went in, plumbing's being addressed, and then there's a lot more to do. And it should be done by the end of this year.
And the roof that is in the...
The roof is not that bad. I had an inspector come in. There's a hole that a raccoon got in, and that's going to be repaired. And then around the vents, there's a few little shoot-away shingles where the animals started to get in, and the chimney needs flashing. So the idea is to put, as I'm going to decoratively paint this house someday, and I'm going to cover it with sparkles, and I'm doing tests on what kind, anything that shines is a sparkle in mine, so it can be a fork. It could be an actual rhinestone brooch. It could be anything, mosaics. So it's going to be an art house, quite unusual. And then the side lot, what I want to do, and I've been kind of designing ideas, but I kind of want it to be like, if this is the sidewalk here, I want it to be like this labyrinth kind of thing where people can come in, they can walk around, and end up going back over into the backyard of my sparkle house. Somebody in town wants to build a vertical garden, so I was thinking that could be over here, vertical garden, and with a table underneath inside, like its own little room, and then like a memorial wall in the back where people can put their own little medals or mother's or father's brooches or things and glue them to the wall, just a memory wall kind of thing, like a flat grotto. And then I'd like to have like a sculpture in here with a water feature, like a water fountain, benches, and all these little stars are where all the sculptures will be. This will be like a children's sculpture garden, so kids can come in and make their own sculptures from it. Anybody can do whatever they want to do. And I just think it will be kind of, just something fun to have in the community. And hopefully I think it'll help people say, oh, I should clean up my junk. A little bit. So that's my thoughts on that.
Which one is the side lot to your house?
That is, I think it's.
6138 East 6th Place.
38?
Yeah,
Okay.
38. Okay.
So there's a couple, I'm sorry. Are you good?
Yes?
So there's a couple that are a block away on Sixth Place
That's
as well?
another neighboring down the street.
Yeah.
Also, these properties ongoing, they're going to multiple,
Correct.
okay, so how many? We have 1, 2,
There's 9.
So why are two people getting double side lots?
They're adjacent.
It's adjacent to the homeowner.
On each side?
No,
So they're getting the next 2 lots?
yes,
Is that part of the program?
yes. If they can show that they are going to keep the lots up,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
I just like to say.
Yeah, we
that's
don't
a
like to
wonderful
orphan
idea,
lots.
man.
Thank you.
And just, keep having that rhythm in your mind,
That
in
prevents
your heart.
the person on the other side from getting what they want.
In the very clear instance, we
Thank
have
you.
folks fighting over what they're both, and they each get.
So the person who would be on the other side gets
Well,
notified?
we notify both neighbors
Yeah, okay.
of the side lots, correct.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank
Motion
you.
for approval, Madam President.
That's what it's about.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Now, may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Item number 10. Congratulations to all of our side lots.
Thank you.
Request for approval of resolution number 6071, a resolution approving the termination of lease obligation between the Gary Redevelopment Authority and the City of Gary, Indiana Redevelopment Commission, also known as the City of Gary Redevelopment.
Yes, staff is requesting the board approve execution of the agreement for the termination of lease obligations between the Redevelopment Authority and the Commission. The Redevelopment Authority and Redevelopment Commission entered into a lease on November of 2003, which provided for the lease payments through 2011, and it was referred to as the Stadium/Public Safety Project. They had entered into the first addendum of that lease agreement on the 17th day of December 24, which amended the lease rental schedule, and also the parties entered into a second addendum to the lease dated May 1st, 2007, which included the Sears building as part of the project. And now the parties desire to settle all claims of this authority and the commission with respect to said lease to terminate all obligations of either party hereunder. So, as you can see, the lease schedule of payments had concluded in 2011, and what this is doing is acknowledging the termination of that lease because the time has come and passed. This is something that we need to clear off has been requested to be cleared off the books because it showed up in the title report as part of the sale leaseback. And regardless of whether or not that moves forward or not, it's just good practice to finalize this and get that put to bed.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
yes.
Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
May I just say thank you so much?
Thank you.
I have to go
Look
to
forward to seeing it.
Thank you very much.
All right, item number 11, request for approval, resolution number 6072, resolution authorizing the execution of a second amended professional services contract between the Gary Redevelopment Commission, City of Gary, and both Advisors LLC for economic and community development, planning, zoning affairs, and general municipal strategic planning services. David, overview, please.
Yes, what you have in front of you is the second amended contract for Volt. Originally, Brian Watkins, who is our Economic Development Advisor for the Redevelopment Commission and acts as the Economic Development Corporation Executive Director in the interim. His contract originally expired in June because it's anticipated that the city would hire a full-time Economic Development Director, but with the changing landscape, it was decided that it would be more prudent to have him stay on for the second half of the year and continue in that role. And that extended from June until December 31st is in the sum of $45,000 total. You'll see here that the city is picking up the lion's share of that extension at $37,500, whereas the Redevelopment Commission is only being asked to contribute $7,500. I'll entertain any questions the board may have on this matter.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not with a roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 12, request for approval, resolution number 6072, a resolution authorizing the execution of the second amended professional services contract with the Gary Redevelopment Commission, City of Gary, and...
You're at 670.
6, 7,
Oh, wait a minute, it's on here
7.
twice. Oh, it's actually printed twice, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Apologize for that, I'm like, okay, I just read that. It's printed twice, okay. Next one, request for approval, resolution number 6073, a resolution authorizing and authoring execution of an extension of the professional service contract with American Structure Point Incorporated to provide engineering services for the Buffington Harbor Access Road.
Yes, so the reason for this amendment or contract extension, it was originally entered into with the board in, I believe, the Q4 of 2017. The way the contract was written was a little bit ambiguous, and it's interpreted as the contract started in 2017, even though the notice proceeding the project actually did not start until spring of this year. So technically, the contract has lapsed. In order for us to pay this contractor, Finance Department has requested that we enter into extension until the end of next year, because the project is contemplated to be completed in spring of 2020. So in order for us to pay them, Finance needs to see that we have a valid contract, and that's why this is in front of the board. So more of an administrative procedure than anything.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not have a roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner King, Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 14, request for approval of resolution number 6074, resolution resolution approving and authorizing the award and execution of a contract with JM Industrial Services for demolition of a structure located at 501 West 11th Avenue in response to RFQ number 2019-5. Can we have an overview, please?
Yes, so what you have in front of you is the request to approve for JM Industrial Services for the demolition of 501 West 11th Avenue. They were the lowest and most responsive bidder for that particular request for demolition, so I request that the board approve the resolution, allow them to move forward with the demolition of that property.
Motion for approval.
I have a question. Is this one of the demolitions that had that tight time frame being completed because of the federal funding?
No, I can answer that question more completely after that one, but basically, the short answer, no. Longer answer, we have potential to get additional funds from DEP because that's been extended, but this is not that.
Okay.
Motion for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not with roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes. Item 15, request for approval of resolution number 6075, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an interlocal agreement between the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission and the City of Gary to establish a separate fund 474 under the Redevelopment Commission to pay vendors for blight elimination. There's no please.
Item 14, Mayor.
Yes.
Yeah, 14, I'm sorry.
Yes. So this resolution is for the interlocal between the City of Gary and the Gary Redevelopment Commission. As you recall, probably 3 meetings ago now, the board set up a fund to accept the $300,000 from Norfolk Southern in compensation for the closure of the B line here within the city. The mayor had articulated that she wanted $250,000 directly towards demolition along the route, as well as $50,000 out of that $300,000 to go to blight elimination. The Public Works Department is responsible for putting out bids and hiring the contractors and managing the contractors. Clotilde has been working with Cedric and our department to kind of coordinate on those fronts. The redevelopment department's sole responsibility in this is the fiscal management, which is why we have the interlocal agreement. So rather than us doing anything to do with specifically managing the project, we were managing the funds. So whenever the contractors complete the work, they'll turn those over to Clotilde. She'll review and approve, and then she'll transmit over to me. And once that we confirm that it fits within the parameters of what the board has approved, then I will work with our finance team to get those bills paid. So literally, we are acting as the bank in this instance because it's in the 474 non-reverting fund. And this was the way that, between talking with Gilbert as well as Greg, that was the best way to kind of facilitate this operation. So I would ask the board to approve this interlocal so that we can begin that demolition and blight elimination.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? Not in the roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item number 15, public comments on agenda items only. If anyone wants to make a comment on agenda items only.
Madam President?
Mr. Nowacki.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jim Nowacki. I live in the 2nd District. And I did want to comment on item 11, the Second Amendment to the contracts between the Development Commission and Volt Advisors LLC, ostensibly for $45,000 to complete the year. I would bring to the board's attention that we've got just a couple of months in this year, and there's never been any clear idea of what Volt Advisors had done for their previous contracts. I would hold that the $45,000 for economic and community development, planning, zoning affairs, and general municipal strategic planning services for the next 2 months would be exceptional for $45,000. I think a comment was made that that $37,000 is coming from the City of Gary to pay for the contract, and the balance from the Redevelopment Commission. But I would be one to suggest that $37,000 coming from the City of Gary for this uncertain advice and service that's being provided by Volt is, I think we could find any number of things that we could do over the next 2 months with this $37,000 from the City of Gary and the balance of the 45, another $8,000 from the Redevelopment Commission. So I just wish that one of the board members would have asked, what services have we gotten in the past for the tens of thousands of dollars that we've been paying, hundreds of thousands of dollars that we've been paying them, that they should receive this exceptional extension of their contract for now $45,000 for just a few more months. And we know that a new administration is going to come in and probably throw the efforts of this company out with the
Thank you, Mr. Nowacki.
with the lack of service. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 9.
Just state your name and address.
The name is Angela Williams. Okay, the, item number 9 was 2037, to 41 Washington Street. This is on, am I correct, this is on the sideline property? This item?
That's
Okay,
correct.
I had somebody that had, requested a bid for this property last year. We was waiting to hear from them, but it was to purchase it. It was a sideline, and I'm showing it here on the sideline. So who do we talk to about that? Because the application's been in there for over a year.
Wow.
We would be more than happy to address that after the meeting to follow
Okay.
up on that.
Okay,
So you need to speak with Ms. Purtle and Mr. Bitwine.
okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Anyone else? All right, item number 16, report from our director, A.J. Bittner.
All right, I have a couple of items for you. As the board is aware, the Plan Commission held a public hearing yesterday on the comprehensive plan update, which the city has been working on for over 18 months. I've printed out the kind of most salient section, all of the neighborhoods within the city of Gary. And what you have in front of you is the cutout with the proposed future land uses, and most of them are the existing land uses and what the potential future uses may be, with a short synopsis of what some of the findings were. I mean, the overall document itself is 411 pages with the appendices. So this is only, I believe, 16 of those 400 pages. But what that plan accomplished was consolidating previous planning efforts that were done both by the planning department, redevelopment, green urbanism, stormwater, public works, to really make sure that all those different documents spoke to each other. And what you see here is a kind of very easy to digest component of the comprehensive plan because it's color coded. It has the information bubbles as far as what those specific uses were, and the city also engaged in a very intense kind of public involvement component of it to make sure that the residents within the various neighborhoods voices were heard and were incorporated into these plans. Yesterday with Carla Henderson with Volt, as well as Gretchen Sith, who was leading our citizen participation process, were able to kind of go over the various stages and the components of the plan. And the Plan Commission voted unanimously 6-0 to send a favorable recommendation to the Common Council, where they will ultimately have a chance to approve, deny, or amend the plan itself in the form of a resolution. Now, this is kind of the beginning of the conversation, and as this board is tasked with the redevelopment of the city and prioritizing investment within the various neighborhoods and corridors within the city, this is a really good framework that kind of lets us know where future land uses go and where we should be concentrating our efforts, whether it be through emergency funds or any other type of grant funds, because that's really what the TIF districts are used for, is investing in infrastructure and other opportunities for the community. And the purpose of that investment is to entice additional private sector investment so that we can build our tax base back up within the city. And this is what the draft is available online on the city's website, and I'll send that link to all of the board members so you can take a look at all 411 pages of it. And You don't have to look at all 400. That falls on staff to do.
Depending on how much trouble you're getting.
Right.
To sleep at night.
But I do suggest really looking at these neighborhood maps and the prescribed type of uses, because what the redevelopment board has talked about while Joe Van Dyke was director and as I've transitioned to the director's role, as far as city-owned property, school-owned property, where we're concentrating on potential redevelopment opportunities, especially along the I-65 and 894 corridors. You'll see where the casino is contemplated, and also where we need to do additional planning and additional strategic investment plans, working closer with the airport, working closer with the school city, and working with very large partners like IUN and our large corporate partners like US Steel and our new companies like Alliance Steel and Community Tube and things of that nature, and understanding how can we keep this momentum, moving forward with reinvestment, and also looking at strengthening those residential neighborhoods that still are viable and still strong, but looking at ones that have, maybe because of our population loss, are less than desirable for any type of redevelopment for single-family residential. And this plan takes those things into consideration. So one of the things that I hope to do in 2020 with the board is kind of have that, conversation, so that as we continue to make our decision, we're basing it on the data that has been collected through the G-stats, through the Gary counts, and all of that other information, and continue to build on that so that we have a very robust, even more robust information data as we make those decisions, so that it's not done anecdotally or done arbitrarily, so that we can point to data analysis and say, okay, because we tore down these structures, the adjacent property values have increased in that area, or because we've torn down these buildings, we've had private development next door, because otherwise that wouldn't have happened. So taking in all of those things into consideration, that's what this plan kind of builds on. And one of the next parts of this plan, as the board is aware and already has under contract, is Enso Link, which are the attorneys that were tasked with updating the zoning and development code, subdivision code, as well as we'll need to update the zoning map accordingly with that new development code. Working with them so that we have a 21st century zoning ordinance, not one that is, for lack of a better word, a Frankenstein of the original enabling zoning legislation that was passed when the city was still basically in its infancy. Development patterns have changed over the course of the last 100 years, and we need a zoning code that appropriately codifies that so that we can elicit the type of investment that we know is interested in the city.
So at this point, it's final as far as the planning department is concerned, and it's just subject to the council?
Correct. And so I'll be working with the council as they work their way through that process, but the public hearing has already commenced, and all of the public input has been kind of accounted for in the document itself. And I know the council will have additional public comment available at their meetings. So I look forward to participating in that part of the process.
One more question. Is this anticipated to be finished during the current council's
Yes.
session, so before the end of the year?
That is the mayor's intent to have this ratified before the end of the year. Any other questions on that front?
Thank you. Sounds good.
Okay. Oh, I'm not done.
Oh, you're not, okay, go ahead.
Next, I have for the board, we're going to be putting, we had previously put this piece of property out for RFP, and I need to communicate with Gil whether or not it needs to go back out for RFP, but it's the intention to dispose of this piece of property on 7201 West 9th Avenue, because it's adjacent to other industrial uses, and there's been a request that it be made publicly available. And this is another parcel that we'd like to get off of our list and make it available for development as well as taxable use. So the intent is to get this out put it back out for RFP if we need to, but if it is still within the window, since the last time we had made it publicly available, then we will go through with that route. But just want to give you a quick update on that.
Is there a building currently on it?
There is, and it'll more than likely need to be demolished because of the state of it. I had a meeting recently with Green Urbanism and NIPSCO. As you may be aware, there's a RFP out for solar fields and solar contractors, and because NIPSCO, I believe, is trying to transition from coal by 2023. And as part of that, they're looking to build their renewable energy capacity. And considering that the city, as well as the school city, and even Gary Housing Authority have large tracts of land that may or may not be redevelopable or reused for the use that they previously were, we're going to begin the analysis for what properties may be made available for solar field development, and working through the planning department as well as those other partners in the city council and the mayor's office to see what makes sense as our utility provider transitions into green energy, as well as seeing what benefits it could be to the community in and of itself in the forms of doing that. So I just want to give the board a brief kind of update on that's something that we're pursuing at a staff level, and you may see a request for basically an RFP at some point in the near future so that we can take advantage of this opportunity, because it may even be an income generating source for the city as well as our partners. So I thought that would be something that would be pretty important for us as we look to kind of close some of the gaps in our budgets. Also, as Commissioner Holland asked about the blight elimination program, so we recently received word that the BEP program has been extended into 2020, and there are additional funds that are being made available. So Carol, our deputy director, as well as Arlene Colvin, who's the director of community development, are spearheading that with the Indiana Housing Community Development Authority to see what funds are available and identifying properties that, I mean, we already have plenty of properties identified, so there is a queue there, which any additional funds for the demolition of the properties that are already on our list, it's all residential, unfortunately. Still trying to find more commercial and industrial development demolition funds, but this continually gets us closer, so we are working on that list with us, so I'll give you an update once we know for certain that we'll get additional funds and where those demolitions will occur.
As far as the BP, is it a new application process, or are we still operating where we are?
I believe we're operating where we are, but I think we have to request those funds.
Okay.
And I don't know how competitive it is, but I'll get a better idea from Arlene as far as how that's going and what we can anticipate, and as far as additional funds.
Very good.
Is the progress going satisfactorily on the ones that we approved?
Yes, Carol is almost exclusively working on that with the closeouts with Arlene and staying in compliance with IHCA. So it's a very paper-intensive process, a very time-intensive process, and it's eating up a lot of capacity with the majority of the redevelopment staff to make sure that we stay in the good graces of the state and HUD, and even working with Arlene's department to keep that going. And Cedric and the demolition guys have done a great job kind of keeping their eyes on everything and managing from that standpoint, as well as getting their own work done. So I commend them for that. And let's see. So one of the things that, as the years its end, and as well as the administration, one of the things that has come up several times, and at least even from my perspective, there's a lot of contractors that have done work through the RDC in the last year, and as we determine whether or not these contracts will be coming back on board for 2020 and beyond, one of the things I'm going to be asking of each one of them as they can close out near end of their contract near the end is giving a summary of work completed to the board, so that we can have a true accounting and have a very transparent kind of conversation about did these contractors do the work that we wanted them to do, and also be responsive to the general public, because these are all taxpayer funds. And I think it's a good way, as even as I transition into the role and as we look to 2020 and beyond, to truly know we're getting a return on our investment with the various folks that we've hired, and as we make decisions about what we're going to do in the future. So if it's the board's pleasure, I'd like to engage those contractors in that kind of capacity and have them either prepare a report in writing or writing in combination with appearing in front of the board, depending on the board's pleasure.
Does that require a
It's
resolution
a-
for a future meeting?
Not necessarily a resolution, but more or less an informal report to the board, just because we have some fairly sizable contracts, and it's a very large city, and there's a lot of work that's being done, and I think there's a lot of good work that's being done. But we also, I think, owe to the public to have that, a little bit of that more transparency and broadcast the good work that has been done.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. I just wondered, do we have to formalize anything, or can we just say, yeah?
No, I think it's just kind of a general consensus, unless the board have any additional comments or questions or anything additional that they'd like me to add as part of that conversation.
Probably just the impact on jobs.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. One last thing. So, as the board knows, they currently own City Church. The city was granted $160-ish thousand from the Knight Foundation, and in communicating and working with Legacy Foundation, we've kind of come up with a game plan to move forward with the stage 1 stabilization of the city church before it is basically lost for good due to weather. So the thought is of potentially transferring the funds from Knight, who Legacy is a direct recipient of, and transferring those funds to Legacy as the project manager so they can engage contractors to start that stabilization as our partner for that stage 1 stabilization. And what you'll see in front of the, I guess this could have been under agenda items for the next board meeting.
I have questions. Concerns, well, go ahead.
Right. So there's still a little bit of hair left on this that Gil and I do work through with their attorney. But the thought is to, in order to more expeditiously move this forward because of our staffing limitations and ability to kind of take on this project at this time of the year, that we, in communication with them, we thought it might be a good idea to partner in that capacity. We just need to work out all of the mechanics, but I wanted to bring this to the board's attention as Gil and I worked with them and wanted to kind of elicit any type of questions or comments in advance so that we can take care of those before the next board meeting.
Liability was always my issue.
Was that?
I said liability was always my issue.
Right, and that's part of the conversation that we've already had as far as who has the liability and where does that go, and that's actually the glaring question that Gilbert's going to be working with their attorney on to make that determination.
All right. Mr. Bennett, another question. I know we go through this all the time. Item 11, when you first presented it, you did say the reason why, and why was it necessary to continue this contract. Evidently, somebody missed it in your presentation, and I just want to clarify for the public why we're on the broadcast here.
Sure.
Would you please go over item 11 again? I don't like anybody to think that it's something that we're doing wasted money and stuff like that. Can you explain from the beginning why that was continued?
Sure. Absolutely. Originally, like I said, Brian Watkins' part of the bulk contract was set to expire, I believe, June 30th of this year. So that left a 6-month gap between the end of June and December 31st. So this $45,000 actually accounts for from July 1st through December 31st, not for 2 months of the year. So that's $45,000 over 6 months for both work that he does for the Redevelopment Commission as well as his work with the city on the consolidation plan of moving the various departments in and around the city. So that's why they picked up the lion's share of that part of the $45,000, with the $7,500 was specific for the work that he does in conjunction with me for economic development, business attention, retraction, deal making, working with brokers, marketing properties, all of those things, and the analysis, the years and years of analysis that he has working in Detroit on a similar scale and the revitalization of the city of Gary. So, in my opinion, this is not to mention the fact that he's already been kind of working for 4 months towards this part of the contract, very essential in the capacity building, considering that we've had the director of planning take a new position. One of our other contractors, Mike Citro, recently, and congratulations to him, took over as the executive director of Legacy's Community Development Corporation, and as well as our former director who was working in a capacity of an advisory role on the comprehensive plan update, who is currently on his way to Seattle. So we've had 3 very kind of high-profile exits for other jobs and needing some capacity on in-house. And Brian has done a great job working with us and working for the city to try and move forward these projects.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else in the report?
No.
You're good. Okay, thank you. It was good. I appreciate the information. Report from our commission attorney, Joe King Jr. He had to leave.
I have one thing from
you
him.
have one thing. Okay.
Yeah. So Gilbert will be providing a report via letter. We're working through the either contract extension lease with L. Richardson and Herb Hardwick for the property on the west side of town as part of the waste plan. So this is kind of a joint redevelopment commission, Gary Sanitary District, kind of coordination, communication with the property. So more to come on as far as that's concerned.
Thank you. Item number 18, commissioner comments. Commissioner Hall.
No.
Commissioner Joyner.
None.
Commissioner Johnson.
No comment.
Commissioner King.
No.
Thank you for all the information that we've gotten today. We're busy. We appreciate that. Item number 20, school board representatives' comments. Mr. Bugs is not present today. Item number 21, agenda items for the next board meeting.
Just tentatively the city church, and we'll communicate with anything else that may come up.
Okay. Okay, item number 22, I'm sorry, 21, should be. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Second. It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments?
I have no comment.
It has been moved and properly second that the Gary Redevelopment Commission of October 30, 2019 is adjourned. May I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner King.
Yes.
Pastor Johnson.
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Joyner.
Yes.
Commissioner Dowling.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, board members.
600-page planning